fear. It's the dragon that every one of us needs to slay. Because this dragon is what's stopping us from showing up in the world authentically, stopping going after those really audacious goals we have, the goals that when we're daydreaming, we think over and over again, but we're afraid to pursue them because we're worried about what people think of us. And sometimes we are fearful to take action because we feel like maybe we need to have somebody validate us and to kind of give us a blessing before we can go on this journey to follow our dreams. And also too, it could happen too that we are afraid of failing and looking like fools. But it can be quite challenging to go after really bold dreams when you've pretty much of your life have lived within your comfort zone. But there's hope. I used to be there. I used to be the kind of person who was so afraid to try something new, lived within my comfort because I was just so afraid of failing. And I knew that's one of the things I grew up listening to. My father would say, like, for me to work hard. And I was always worried that I worked hard. I was worried that one day I'm going to fail at something and then somehow end up be living on the streets and begging on the streets and just living a miserable life. I don't know where that thought, but I just would constantly worry about that. But in order for us to live our comfort zones, one of the things we have to start to focus on is to ask ourselves, what is it that we really want? What do you really, really, really want in your life? And then make a decision whether you're going to go after it. And once you decide you're going to go after that dream, then the next thing to think about is think about what, in order for you to accomplish that dream, reverse engineer and think, what things would need to happen for that dream to come true? But what makes it very, very difficult, the person you are today is not the person that's going to be accomplish the dreams that you have, you hold dear to your heart. What needs to happen, you need to envision the person who would be doing those bold things and accomplishing those goals. And I'm not saying fake it, you make it, but start to do the very things that person, your future self, will praise you for and thank you for. You do them, and there'll be a day in which you wake up and you'll be that person. It's a process of becoming. And when we focus on who we will be becoming in order to reach our goals, then it becomes doable, because our current self, when we look at current circumstances, it just feels as though we'll never accomplish the goals we set for ourselves. Now, this is something which I started to, and I find it incredibly helpful. I asked myself, what are some simple things I could start to do so I could start to have those little positive changes in my life that will help me to get more and more courageous? And it was quite simple. So I started out with so one thing I found to be helpful was that once I started to do that, I started to get small wins, there was a cumulative impact. So I found us more willing to try something and fail at it, because I began to recognize when I failed, that was an opportunity for me to learn and to get better at whatever it is I was trying to do. So here are 3 simple things. Try one or more of them. Very simple. It's spring right now in the US. What you could try, you see the new selection of colors, try a new color you've never tried before, pattern you haven't tried before. Or if you don't want to spend the money, look at your closet and shop in your closet. Put a few things together and create outfits and wear something different. The second thing you could try, another option is to try spending. I know this can be really hard, but try running some errands without wearing any makeup, without being all dolled up, and just do that. Another third thing you can try is and this is really huge, this is really, really important, is to really just right away when somebody asks you to do something and you think to yourself and you start to think to yourself, I really don't want to do it. And actually the old me would agree to do that. The new me doesn't want to do that anymore because it doesn't serve me anymore, is to say no. And don't give an elaborate explanation or make up some excuse. Just say no, because no is a complete sentence. So give a shot at trying one or more of those things. And when you start to do that, you start to build the muscle to be able to handle living outside the parameters of your comfort zone. And you start to do that and you have small wins, then you find yourself being able to do more and more bold things. By nature, our mind is set for us, like the whole thing of doing something outside our comfort will feel scary. Our minds can't tell apart true danger for something is perceived danger or makes us anxious. But when we start to do that, we're starting to rewire our brain and starting to create that comfort and us being able to do the things which will look in the future and say, wow. And we look at our past and look at our future stuff, we look at our past stuff and say, wow, I can't believe I did that. And so start doing those and it will give you the wins so you can be able to work towards accomplishing goals. Nobody who's actually doing anything bold is doing something bold because they're not fearful. They're fearful in spite of the fear they have. They do the thing in spite of knowing they're going to make mistakes, but they know through learning, through the whole process of trial and faith, just trying different things, they'll start to realize what their passions are. They start to realize these are the people that work there. They also learn things about themselves. And we start to do that when our children start to see us doing things like that. We also are giving them encouragement, also modeling to them how to live our life authentically. And for even people around us, when we start to change, yes, let's face it, there are people who are going to see we're becoming too different. They don't want to be our friends anymore, or they want to interact with us. And that's okay. Those people didn't need to. There's some friends who will be in your life for a season, not for a lifetime. But there will be people around you who will see you're walking with such confidence. There's something really different about you. And when you tell them what you've done, you're also encouraging them, nudging them to take some action, to live their lives more boldly, and to just accomplish what their life's mission is. Follow me for more on this journey of living more bold and living in such a way that you're joyful. And in the end, you're not asking yourself, what if? Because that's a really difficult question to ask yourself. And really, you cannot answer that question, but just be in a place of regret, being in a place of, I wish I had done that. And there's a point at which in our lives we're not able to do some of the things we have hoped to do, because our time on earth is limited, it's finite. Follow me for more on this journey of becoming more of yourself.